Well, it's good to see everybody. It's going to be a real short lesson today, especially because we're missing several people in class. But the plan is talk about any questions you might have on the quiz we took a couple of days ago. After that, we'll go ahead and do another problem from our current notes just to kind of remember what it was we were doing yesterday. We'll continue that on Monday. The log equations assignment will be due on Monday. We'll talk about that before finishing up with our current lesson. And then on Tuesday is when you'll have your next quiz over log equations. So it won't be these where you have to solve an exponential using a log. There will already be logs there, either convert or log equals log. But we'll review that next week. And then we'll get into the natural number and we'll keep going. We got 4 weeks left. Okay, so any questions? All right, first thing, let's take a look. Did we want to go ahead and do numbers 1 and or 2 from the quiz? Okay, so we feel pretty confident about graphing logarithmic functions, whether it's a growth or a decay. Buddy's good. Ooh, this is going to be a short lesson today. All right. Okay, then let's go ahead, pull out the notes we were looking at yesterday. It looks just like this. It'll say warm up at the top. We're solving exponential equations with logarithms. Okay, did anybody need another copy? Need another copy? Got those right over here. Anybody else? You what? Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Well, we've seen exponential equations before, and we were able to solve those without logarithms. Well, that was because we were able to we were given a common base, or I was able to rewrite the bases so that they were the same base. Because once the bases are the same, we cut those loose, the first power equals the second power. So yesterday, we started looking at equations where we are not going to be able to change the bases to make them identical. So this is where we're going to have to take the log of both sides, or we're going to have to convert it. Now, in either case, you always want to make sure that the exponential is isolated before you do anything. So for example, let's take a look at number 5. It says 4 times 7 to the power n equals 148. Okay. Well, that exponential, we're talking about the base and its power combination. Okay. So this right here, that is not isolated yet. See, I'm multiplying it by something. So I have to get rid of that 4. Okay, so somebody help me out. If I go ahead and divide through, okay, those are going to cancel. So 7 to the power of n is equal to, what's 148 divided by 4? Ooh, a little higher. 37. There we go. That's a horrible 7. I can do better. There we go. 37. 148 divided by 4. Okay, once the exponential is by itself, remember there was 2 different ways I showed you that we could go ahead and solve one of these. Let's do probably what a lot of people are going to do the easier way. Let's take this exponential and convert it. So remember, if you're looking at an exponential or a logarithm, there's always the same 3 parts. You've got the base, you've got the power, and then what's that third part? Starts with A. The argument. There we go. So what would this be if I rewrote it as a log? So log base 7 of 37. And one thing that could help you when you're rewriting these logs or writing out your equations, remember, what is a log? It's a power. So whatever power it is that you're working with, that is what your log is going to have to equal. And see, right there, this is going to allow me to go ahead and solve for n. So we just go ahead and plug it in. So come on over here to the calculator. How do I pull up a log? Control and then 10 to the x. Okay, so we got base 7, argument of 37. So I've got, let's say 1.86 is going to be my solution. Okay, so I come on back over here. So n is roughly 1.86. Now, if I were to go ahead and plug this in back into the original, it's going to get me really close to 148, but it's not going to be perfect. The more decimal places I take in my answer, the more precise I'm going to be. Okay. Now, let me go ahead and do another one. Okay. So we solved that by just converting it. Okay. So let's say we have the same thing. So 7 to the power of n is equal to 37. I could also simply take the log of both sides of the equation. Now, when you do this, you can choose whatever base that you want, as long as what two conditions? The base has to be positive. Well, it's got to be the same, true. It's got to be positive and cannot equal 1. Okay, so give me a base you want to use. 37. Let's use 37. So I'm going to go ahead and say log base 37 of 7 to the power n is equal to log base 37 of 37. See, this is an alternate way to go ahead and find the solution if I don't want to convert it to a log. I just take the log of both sides. And it really is as easy as just writing the word log in front of the left and the right side. Okay. Now, we do have a particular property, because remember, we're trying to solve for n, right? So if I have a power inside an argument, remember, we have a power rule that says I can pull that to the front where it becomes a coefficient. So this is going to be n times the log, base 37 of 7, is equal to the log base 37 of 37. Okay. Well, how would I solve for n? Okay. What's the opposite operation of multiplication? Division. So I'm multiplying n by this log, so I'm going to go ahead and divide by that log base 37 to 7. And whatever I do to one side, I'm going to do to the other. Okay. Anything divided by itself is going to cancel. So this right here, it should give me the exact same value I got just a moment ago. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Oh, actually, I put 37 there. Sorry about that. We're dividing by log base 37 to 7. All right, so control divide. Let's go ahead and put in these logs here. Okay. So this one is log base 37 of 37. This one's log base 37 of 7. Okay. So let's see. There we go. 1.86. Works out every time. And remember, this is the change of base formula. It's because of the change of base formula that we were able to use this second strategy. Okay. Now, for me, it doesn't matter. If you like to take the log of both sides, I mean, you're more than welcome to. If you're able to do it by simply converting it, fantastic. Okay. Whatever works best for you. Okay. How are we doing? Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we go ahead and stop there? Oh, no, wait. I heard someone say no. Or maybe that was just me. Okay. All right. So we got a chance to review. We will go ahead and finish these notes on Monday after we talk about the log equations assignment.